and welcome back to my channel. I thought I'd do more of a sit down video where I discuss a few tips and tricks when it comes to actually planning your trip to the festival, and also what I got whilst I was there, because there's a couple of things that I bought which I'd love to share because I feel like I can explain a little bit more about them. So yeah, that's what this video is going to be about, so I hope you enjoy it. If you are enjoying my content so far, I know I had the longest break. Yeah, it was very much a mixture of life circumstances and just needing to take the time, just kind of off YouTube, which was a shame because I was actually really enjoying making the content for the short time that I did it for. But yeah, you know, I figured with my trip to the festival and everything, I really wanted to jump on and share that experience. You know, maybe this will progress into me continuing to share stuff going forward. Maybe not all Austen related content like before, you know, a bit of a mixture of things that I enjoy. But yeah, I do love making these videos, so I really hope that I can kind of find the time to do it. And also I feel like I'm in a better headspace now to actually put more time and commitment into this. So if that does interest you and you would like to see more content from me, please do subscribe and like the video. It really does help. And like I said, even though I've been away, all the encouragement and the continued comments and support on the channel really has meant a lot. Even though I've not really been, you know, front and center on the channel, I have been trying to keep up to date with a lot of the comments. So yeah, thank you so much for the continued support. Yeah, let's get into it. What do I have? What did I get from the festival? One of the main places that I actually got things was from the festival fair on the Friday, which you would have seen in the vlog. So this has like so many providers and suppliers from all over the UK and probably globally as well. They've come together and they sell things that are like Regency related. So, you know, hats, bonnets, shoes, dresses. There was lots of ribbons, shawls were available. There was all sorts, you know, cards, lots of just like Jane Austen themed merchandise. And then also the Jane Austen Centre actually have their own stand there as well, so you can purchase things like the Mr. Darcy duck that you can get, and also they have a Guess Who board that's like a board game. I don't know if you can get that everywhere, but it's a popular board game in the UK, and they've done like a Jane Austen version which you can only get from the centre, so that was also at the fair. I got a couple of bits. Probably the first thing that I got was actually these gloves. So I figured these would be a really nice accessory to have for the promenade, which was on the Saturday. And I did struggle slightly because I was filming content at the same time. It was difficult to film whilst having the gloves on. But they did really add to the outfit, and I ended up actually using them more on the Sunday night when we went out for dinner with friends. So I tried to kind of dress up my outfit a little bit, even though I was in the same dress. I kind of had a shawl and then these gloves as well. And I think it does just add a little extra. And these were actually only £4, so an absolute bargain. I was so over the moon to get these. I do recommend, especially if you only have the one dress, that you find ways to kind of enhance the look without needing the additional dress. So if you're only going to have one, gloves, a ribbon, bonnets, hair pieces, you know, that kind of thing can really make the difference to the whole outfit. So on that note, the next thing I want to talk about that I got is this sash, which went on with my dress. I got this from Laughing with Lizzie and Abby Rose Creative. So Sophie and Abby, who you saw on the vlog video, because Abby actually made my dress, they had a couple of stands at the fair, because Abby Rose Creative, Abby has her own stand that she does at multiple different markets throughout the year, but then her and Sophie now have this sister brand where they supply Regency accessories, so including like sashes like this, which go around your waist here. And this honestly added so much to the dress. Like, I love the dress so much, but this just kind of broke things up a little bit. It added a different colour in there. And, you know, people in Regency England were known for their like bold, bright colours, you know, adding more eccentric accessories to things. So even though this isn't quite eccentric, I think it did just add something really special. And I had so many compliments about this as well, because it's absolutely stunning and they had so many colours and different designs. So I really recommend checking them out. And this is one of my favourite things that I managed to get whilst I was there. The next thing that I got, and you probably saw from the vlog, me and Caily both got one of these, and that is a bonnet. So bit of a staple for Regency attire. I didn't go with one, so I was really chuffed that I managed to get one whilst I was there. I feel like it's slightly misshapen from the box. They do put it in a box for you, but obviously we were traveling backwards and forwards and it did go in my car after. But yeah, I feel like this it just added so much to the outfit. And we were in and out of our bonnets like for the whole time that we were at the festival. So this was probably the most affordable bonnet that was at the fair. The bonnets definitely did range in price. So this bonnet here, this kind of straw one with the single ribbon, this was £45, and I think that was the cheapest bonnet that you could get at the fair. Some of them went as high as like £200. These bonnets were absolutely stunning. I mean, the skill set for the people who create these bonnets is incredible. I believe there was even a lady there who made the bonnets for the Sensibility with Emma Thompson as well. So she, you know, still designs them and she sells them. So you can imagine there were the most incredible bonnets there, which were all unique. They all look different. I mean, I'm really happy with my bonnet, but you know, if I could have got one of the other ones, there were so many that I really liked, I really would have. So they aren't cheap. You definitely need to take probably more money than you think you do to the festival, because I guarantee there's going to be so much stuff there that you want to buy that you don't even realise before you get there that you're going to want to buy. So yeah, the bonnet was so worth getting, and I was really chuffed that we did. And the fact that we had matching ones as well was really cute. But yeah, that is what I got in terms of like accessories for my outfit. So the next thing I got from the Jane Austen Centre stand, and it was these scrunchies. So unfortunately, in the transition from Bath home, I must have lost one of them because they come in a 2-set pack. One of them I think was like green with little flowers on, and then there's this one which has the characters on, which is so fun. And they're actually made by one of the staff members at the centre. I can't remember which character it was. I'm really not doing very well here, but yeah, she makes them and you can get them in the centre. I haven't seen them on the website, so I don't know if this is like, you know, you have to be in person to get them, but they were at the fair, and I'll definitely be getting some more next time I'm in Bath because I really love them. And obviously I lost one, so I need more. I definitely need more. So yeah, that is my plan. But this was such a great buy, and again, like, was something that wasn't as expensive but so practical. Like, this is something that you can use in your everyday life, which I love. You know, if you can get something that you know you're going to use more often than say like my bonnet and things, I think that's worthwhile. And then the next thing that I got from the centre on the day that we went for the exhibition. So me, Elle and Caily, we all went together, which was really, really wonderful. And then we went into the gift shop after, which was heaving, I will say that. So if you do the exhibition, I don't know whether this was just because it was obviously the festival weekend, and so there was people just wanting to go in the gift shop, but it was, yeah, it was really, really busy, and so was our group. So we had a lot of people in our group, and I believe because Elle and Caily have been to the exhibition before, they said their groups were much smaller. So I think just because it was the festival, it was much busier in the centre than usual, and it isn't a big building at all. So yeah, we're all cramped in this little gift shop. But I did still find something that I wanted, and it's something that I've wanted for a really long time now, and that is the letter version of Pride and Prejudice. So this is so amazing, and I was so excited to get it. I was umming and ahhing between getting this one and the Persuasion one, just because I was in Bath. I was like, oh, is Persuasion, you know, more fitting because it's the setting for that book, well, a lot of that book anyway. But I was like, you know what, like, it's always good to start with Pride and Prejudice and then build your collection from there. So yeah, I will show you. So it has like little wallets that fall within the chapters, because Pride and Prejudice actually does have quite a lot of letters in, as do quite a few of her novels. So you get the actual letters, so they're like, were handwritten out, and then obviously they've been like printed, so that you can have them in all these copies. But yeah, you like open them like a proper letter, and they're handwritten, well, in the style of being handwritten anyway. And yeah, I mean, it's just so fun. Like, it makes it so like interactive that you can actually read. I mean, I would struggle to read this writing, to be fair. Like, I feel like my dyslexia would win in this instance, but but I do think it's really special, and it's definitely a version that I wanted in a long time. So obviously it's by Jane Austen, but it was curated by Barbara Heller, and like I said, she also has done the Persuasion version as well. I just think this is such a wonderful addition to have on your bookshelf, especially if you do collect Austen copies like I do. I just think it's so unique and just a really special one. So I'm really happy I got this at the festival, actually, because I just think it's a really nice way to remember the trip. I knew I was definitely going to get at least one book, like one copy of the text. But yeah, I'm glad it was this one. So really chuffed with this. I definitely am thinking of doing a video where I share my Pride and Prejudice collection in particular, because I feel like I have a few of those that I didn't share in my full Jane Austen collection set, because they're kind of like one-offs. I don't have the full set of them. So if you'd be interested in my Pride and Prejudice collection, I can definitely do a video on that. But yeah, this was what I got from the centre. Like I said, they have this Guess Who game, which looks amazing. And they've also just brought out a Jane Austen board game, which I believe, again, is unique to the centre. I don't think you can get it anywhere else. So you can get it on their website, but that's about it. So they do have some really unique things there, including their clothing as well. So they have jumpers which say different things, like, you know, Jane Austen themed jumpers. Elle actually got one that says Pemberley on, which looks so cute and cozy. I didn't get one of them on this trip, because I'd already spent so much money. But I definitely am going to get one of the jumpers in the future because they do look amazing. Okay, I think that's everything that I bought while I was there. Okay, now I have notes about my thoughts and like just tips and tricks that I figured I would mention, because I think it'll be helpful for anyone wanting to go to the festival next year. And I will say next year is probably going to be bigger and better and harder to get tickets for, because it's the 250th anniversary of Jane Austen's birth. And so across the whole year, there are going to be so many events on related to Jane Austen. So I just think everything is going to be harder to get to, because it's just going to be so popular. And also with it being an anniversary year, obviously more people are going to come into the community, which is amazing, but also does make it more difficult to be able to attend things because there's more competition to get there. So the first thing that I thought I would chat about is getting a dress made. So you can get Regency dresses online on Amazon, and I did see quite a few people out in them, and they do look really pretty. I think obviously it could be a bit of a risky game because you don't know exactly what you're going to get, but I did see a few people in Amazon dresses and you couldn't really tell. They were really pretty. The only issue is, obviously, if you get them off Amazon, you're going to bump into a lot of people who also have the same dress as you, which, I mean, this isn't Mean Girls, like, we're not going to fret about that. But I just think if you want your own unique dress, the best thing to do is to have it made. So I obviously commissioned Abby to make mine, but there are a lot of seamstresses that you can find on Etsy and also on Instagram who do make dresses. I think one of the things that made the promenade so special is because so many people had their dresses made, we were all there in unique outfits, and I feel like that is so fitting to what it would have been like in the time period as well, because you would have gone and you would have commissioned your own dresses with a seamstress, you know, in the dressmaker's shop, and so everybody would have had different patterns that they used for their dresses, and so there were so many colours and patterns, and it was just fantastic. Like, it just really added to the atmosphere, and also I feel like that's part of the process, you know, so like that's why I wanted to share it in my vlog. The build up to the festival is also really special. If you are getting things like you're having your dress made, you need to get accessories, say. I feel like it is part of the process that does make the whole journey more exciting. So I would recommend looking into that. I know Caily did have hers made by somebody on Etsy, and I can definitely ask for her info and we can leave the link. But in relation to that, I have a few other thoughts. One of them being, if you're going to be in your dress for multiple different things, so I was in and out my dress a lot because I only had the one, but I had multiple events that I wanted to wear it to. I would say you probably do need more than one, particularly if you're going to go to the ball. Now, this isn't a hard and fast rule. You could get away with wearing one dress, wearing it to the ball and everything, particularly if it's like a white colour. You know, you could definitely wear it to the promenade with a sash and then change the sash out, or if you had your bonnet on, for instance. However, if you're walking the promenade, which is like an hour, you're walking around Bath, obviously you're going to get a bit sweaty. So it is nice to have another dress, and also, you know, for photos, and if you just want to have a different kind of style going on for the evening. If you do have ball tickets, I would recommend going with two dresses. I think even if I was to do it again, I would take two dresses just to change things up a little bit more. And I am definitely going to need another dress in general as we move into the anniversary year. But yeah, I think it's worth considering. Maybe if you had one made, which is kind of on the more expensive side, and then you also got one off Amazon potentially, or if you can have two made, you know. I know it's definitely not the cheapest of things to do, but if it's something that you're going to want to do more than once, and I think if you're already committing to more than one event, so the festival and then other things, like you want to go to other balls, definitely get more than one dress because you will use it. Another way that you can kind of combat this if you do have one dress is to get kind of a Spencer jacket or just like a cover up that you can use. So I was really lucky actually. My parents found 2 Spencer jackets when they were out and about. I think they were in just like an antique shop, and they managed to get, I think they were like £3 each. So total blip, but incredible. I did take one of mine to the promenade, but I didn't end up wearing it. But Caily did wear it in the end. So it is worth taking a little jacket if you can get one, because I think as well, if the weather's not so great, we had beautiful weather, it was sunny the whole time, but if the weather's not so great, you know, it's good to have like a little extra layer. And also because they fasten, the way that they sit, it kind of makes your dress look like a whole different dress. So yeah, that's another way to get around having these additional looks that you can work with. I wanted to show you my shoes as well. I think at the start of the vlog I said I was just going to wear slip-on shoes, which I was, but then I was looking on New Look and they actually had these shoes on sale. So they were, please excuse them because they're looking a bit of a state because I was wearing them so much at the weekend, but and they're kind of like squared at the bottom. But I just thought these were ideal. They went really well with my dress because you can see a bit of your shoe because the dresses are meant to sit just up off the floor, obviously, so it's easy to walk and dance in them. So I do think it is good to be mindful about shoes. And these, you know, being £8, I thought, you know, what a bargain. So if you can find something similar like this, like on New Look and things, I don't know whether this style, because I've seen them about quite a lot, is kind of in fashion at the moment. I have no idea. But if it is, maybe this is a good time to buy them if you are looking to go to Jane Austen events next year. Obviously, you can spend loads of money on shoes if you want shoes that are really accurate to the time period, but yeah, I feel like this is a good budget option, and because of the colour, you know, they kind of would go with any dress as well. So yes. Okay, so other thoughts in terms of the festival. As I've said countless times now, the tickets go really super quick. So I did have festival friends, but I was just taking my sweet time, and I wasn't in a rush to get my tickets, which was such a mistake because had I got them when they came out for Festival Friends, I probably could have secured tickets. So I didn't get tickets, but I feel like that was unusual because I had Festival Friends. So my first recommendation is do get Festival Friends because you get early access to tickets before the general sale. And if you are doing the general sale, you don't get Festival Friends, you kind of need to set an alarm, like you need to be buying them as they go live. I heard this from multiple people at the festival. If you want tickets, yeah, you do need to be like getting them. I heard some people, because obviously there's people all over the world going to the festival, some people would be like getting up in the middle of the night to buy these tickets. Okay, someone liked it to getting Taylor Swift Eras tour tickets, so that's how competitive it is to try and get ball tickets. There's some things that, you know, the tickets are like endless, like the promenade, you can get a wristband on the day, but the ball, the croquet games, dance lessons, all of those kind of things, they go super fast. There are different balls with different levels of danceability. So I believe the ball on the Friday night, you had to have a certain level of danceability, you had to know the dances and to attend that one, whereas the Saturday night one was more for any beginners, anyone could go to it. But yes, this is my final warning. Do make sure that you either have festival friends or you're very prepared to get tickets at the time of release. Another thing is that I will say is I'm all for doing things solo, you know, going to events on your own. If it's something that's on your heart and you want to do it, I really recommend doing it. And everyone was so friendly in Bath and at the festival that I think if you went on your own, you'd either definitely make friends or you'd never feel lonely because everybody's, you know, fully immersed in the experience. And everybody just wants to chat to each other, and obviously you're all there for the same love of Jane Austen, so you're always going to find people that you have stuff in common with. However, I feel like it is a really special experience that is worth sharing with someone. So if you do have a friend that you can go with, I really recommend chatting about it in advance, so that you can get your tickets sorted and also your accommodation. So me and Caily sorted our accommodation, gosh, I want to say like 10 months before the event, if not longer. So Bath is a biggish city, but not that big. And so if you want accommodation in the city, which I really recommend that you do, you're going to have to sort it as soon as possible because they go so fast. We had an Airbnb, but I can imagine for hotels as well, that it's difficult to get things if you leave it too late. So if you are going to go with someone, I recommend you starting to plan it as soon as possible. And there's things to consider, like parking is quite difficult and expensive in Bath. So if you are going to drive, I recommend getting a hotel or an Airbnb that actually has parking attached to it. Otherwise, if you can come via train, like if you live near London or down south, or if you're going to fly into London, I would recommend coming by train. I think that's probably the easiest way to do it. Unfortunately, if you live in the north of England like me, it's really difficult to get a train to Bath, so you kind of have to drive. But yes, if you can come by train, do it. The next thing that I want to discuss is, another thing to think about in advance is your restaurants. Obviously, you don't need to be booking these like months in advance, but definitely probably the month of or a couple of weeks out. I recommend booking restaurants. So me and Caily booked all of our restaurants that we wanted to eat at in the evenings, and I'm really glad we did, because every single restaurant that we went to was heaving. I think most places you really do need to have a reservation. And if you want to go to the Dark Horse cocktail bar, like we did, you 100% need a reservation. I think we saw like 3 or 4 groups get turned away at the door there. So yeah, really recommend that. They are really strict about the timing. They do shimmy you out because they need to get more people in. So yeah, definitely book your tables if you do want to eat out. Otherwise, I think a good way to keep the costs down, if you're looking to do that, is to get an Airbnb that actually has a kitchen attached. So ours only had like a really tiny, it wasn't really even a kitchen, it was like a fridge. So we couldn't really eat in much. But if I was to do it again, if I was to do it on my own, I would probably get an Airbnb with a kitchen so that I could prepare more food in. Okay, another thought on the planning process is don't plan too much in. So I planned quite a lot into our schedule, and there was things that we weren't able to do in the end, like we didn't go to the Roman baths. I planned a lot of kind of looking around Bath, touring sections. A lot of those went out the window, to be perfectly honest with you. So this weekend is so much fun, but it is so exhausting. So a couple of things that I'm really happy that I did is, one, I'm really happy we went to the festival fair on the Friday. It was much quieter. We could actually take our time to look around, and we could actually buy things before everything went. If you go on the Saturday, it's where the promenade finishes, so everybody just goes straight into the fair from the promenade. And I believe the promenade had like over 1,000 people at it, so you can imagine it must have been just crazy inside there. I think Shannon said to me, it's like Black Friday sales, like it's just mental when everyone goes in. So if you actually really want to buy things there and you're not just going for a browse, I recommend going on the Friday so you can actually purchase things. In addition, you are probably going to want more downtime than you think you are. So we ended up a lot of the time around lunchtime going back to the annex, just grabbing some food on the go, so that we could just chill and sit and get changed. But a lot of the time it was a quick turnover for us, so we would come back, maybe we'd be back for like an hour, and then we'd be out the door again for the next thing. So it is really hectic. There is a lot going on, so just make sure that you plan enough downtime so that you can really enjoy the experience without being totally exhausted. Either way, you're going to be exhausted, so at least this way you can fit things in and you're not buying tickets and then not being able to attend stuff. I'll also say as well, it's good to look in advance how far things are from each other. So our accommodation was actually really good. We were just across the river, so it was really easy for us to get to anything. However, if you're talking about being at like the Holborn Museum, where a lot of events were, and then you want to say get to the Royal Crescent, that's a good 20 to 30 minute walk, so that's something to consider as well. One is like how much time it's going to take you to get to these different locations. The Royal Crescent is about, I don't know, like 5-10 minutes away from the Jane Austen Centre too, so it's just good to map out where things are in Bath, because it might actually take you a bit longer than you realise. And there were a few times when me and Caily, we were like charging through Bath, like trying to get to stuff in time. So that's something to consider as well, especially if you know you can't walk long distances. You might want to look at ways that you can kind of get around Bath. I mean, I'd be reluctant to say about driving, because the parking charges are so expensive, like it would cost you a fortune. But just something to consider, maybe planning out your trip so that you do everything in certain locations at a certain time, but if like me, like you're fine like walking at 100 miles per hour to get to things, then it's not so bad, but something to look at. Okay, the next thing is something I really recommend taking, and that is a sewing kit. So we kind of had to scramble to try and get stuff together because when Caily leant down to pick up her phone, I think she just kind of stretched the back of her dress too much and the buttons did come off. So we had to kind of sew it back together, and I think if I was to go again, I would definitely take a sewing kit just to be on the safe side. Obviously you're in and out of your dress so much, and you're not just wearing it for photos, like you're wearing it for activities, so the chances of something happening to your dress I think are quite high. I know another friend, someone stood on her dress and ripped it, so I think it's worth taking a sewing kit or just some things that you will be able to mend your dress with, just in case something was to happen. Alternatively, you know, like if I'd had a sewing kit with me, I probably would have changed out my ribbon on my bonnet, because this is just tacked on, and so I definitely could have put a different ribbon on. It sounds like Lydia Bennett, like I want to change out my bonnet. But yeah, you know, I could have done that if I had a sewing kit with me. And at the festival fair they sell loads of things like buttons, ribbons, just bits that you could create stuff with. So if you have a sewing kit, I feel like you would definitely have materials that you could buy that you could then create things for the fair, and maybe that would be a really nice activity as well if you are going with somebody. It's something that you could do in the evening. Okay, another thing I really recommend taking is a portable charger. So this is a bit of a last minute purchase for me, but I'm really glad that I got it because I used it throughout the whole trip. If like me you're going to want to film content, take photos of content, having a portable charger is so important. And something that I mentioned in the vlog is Bath is really bad for having like connection dead zones. So you can end up with like no 4G or no signal, and it can be a good like 5 minutes walk. So that was quite stressful at times. I know that sounds like such a modern day problem, but like for me and Caily, because she's from the US, the only way we could really call each other is like through 4G, like on WhatsApp and things. And so it could be stressful, like the time when we were trying to get hold of each other because we didn't know what was going on and she was still on a train. It made things like that quite difficult. And so I think if you are going with people, and you just for safety reasons as well, that people can check like your location if you're sharing things like that, I would take a portable charger, because I can't even imagine. It was a nightmare not having connection, but I can imagine if your phone died, you've got no connection, if you've got to walk quite a distance to get connection, and you know your phone's struggling for charge. These are all things that definitely can be avoided if you have a portable charger, so really recommend taking that with you. And like I said, it can be a good 20 minutes walk to the next thing that you've got to get to. And alternatively, if your schedule is really busy anyway with festival activities, you might not be going back to your accommodation very regular, and so you're probably going to need to charge your phone again at some point in the day. So I recommend that, always important. I also recommend getting your promenade wristband in advance. So like I said, this is something that you can get on the day, and also something that you can buy the day before, so on the Friday. However, I'm really grateful that I actually bought this online prior. So I actually said in the vlog video that I needed to collect them, but after that I actually looked in my program that they posted to me, and the wristbands were actually inside the program. So this actually saves so much time because we didn't have to worry about sorting that. And also I think the wristbands would be unlimited, but I can't say for sure that that will be the case next year because of how popular I think it's going to be. So I just think it's a good thing to just buy in advance, so you've got it, you can take it with you and you don't need to worry about it when you're there. Okay, there's one more thing that I recommend people buy if you are going to go to Stour Head like me and Caily did, or if you want to tour more locations that were in Jane Austen adaptations this coming year. Something I really recommend getting, which I think is a lovely souvenir to have, and that is my National Trust passport. Not mine, like it will be yours if you buy one, but you know, a National Trust passport. So so I've had mine for a few years now because occasionally I do forget to take it to get it stamped, but I feel like this is such an amazing way to have a souvenir at every location that you go to. And once you buy the passport, the stamps are free, so you just go to the gift shop, you ask them to stamp it. I just feel like it's a really wonderful way to remember your trips. And so yeah, if you are going to be touring some of the properties that are in the adaptations, the ones that belong to the National Trust. I really recommend getting one of these because it's just good to kind of mark things in. So like I have my Stourhead one on there, they date it, and you can obviously write on as well. So I just put that it was the Jane Austen Festival. Yeah, this is something that I really recommend. I will say as well, Stourhead was fantastic and I recommend going. They actually have one of the best kind of restaurants, cafes that I've been to out of all the National Trusts. They usually have pretty decent ones, but this one was particularly good, and they had a lot of hot food available. So yeah, it was a really, really nice National Trust, and a big shout out to Roger who works there. He was really lovely. He actually just, he saw us trying to walk to Apollo's temple because there's a little ticket booth like before you get onto that path, and yeah, we just got talking to him and he offered to basically give us a bit of a tour and take us into Apollo's temple. So we actually got to go inside and look at the ceiling and things, so that was really great. And he was really lovely. He just kind of talked to us about like the trees and like the way that they kind of landscape the gardens and things so that they could see specific areas like the bridge in Apollo's temple and things. So yeah, it was just really good just to get a bit of extra info. We didn't go to the house because we were quite short on time. So it was really nice to have Roger there. He was helpful. So I don't know if anyone from the National Trust is watching this, but big shout out to Roger at Stourhead. He's incredible. Yeah, and that's pretty much, I think, everything that I wanted to share. I had the most amazing time at the festival and I definitely want to go again next year. Like I said, there's going to be so many Jane Austen themed events in 2025 because it's an anniversary year, so there's going to be a lot of things that you can attend if the festival isn't exactly what you're looking for. There's going to be more balls, talks. Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything from me. If you've not watched the vlog, why not? No, I'm joking, but like you might want to go and watch that if it is something that you're thinking of going to, just so you can get a sense for what it was like, and just see mine and Kaylee's shenanigans the whole time. I will also say, if you are interested in Jane Austen content, I also have a podcast called What the Austen, where I chat with fellow Jane Austen fans about all things Jane Austen, mostly about the books and the characters. So yeah, but I also have authors on, historians, book collectors, so if that's something you would be interested in, do check it out. I put episodes on YouTube and also on all podcasting platforms. Yeah, and actually when I got back from the festival, I had an email through to say I'd been shortlisted for an award in the book podcast section of the Independent Podcast Awards. So that's really exciting, and I will be going to London for those. So fingers crossed for me, guys. Hopefully the podcasters win. But yeah, super exciting. So that was really lovely news to come back to. But yeah, thank you for watching till the end. As always, if you can like and subscribe, it really does help grow the channel, as I was saying, and hopefully my life stays on a more even keel, that I can kind of keep this up for a bit longer than last time. But we shall see, and yeah, I will see you in another video. I thought I didn't know where the bonnet was from, but I do. It's actually from Farthingale's Historical Hats. There we go. You get it in a nice little box as well, which I thought was really good, and it meant we could carry it around. It just made it feel extra special, I suppose. Hoggy's obsessed with the bonnet. It goes on my head like this. See? What do you think? Do you like it? Does it suit Mummy? You can try it on if you sit down. Wait, sit down for me. Sit down. Then you can try it on. What do you think? Da da da! Hoggle with the bonnet. He's so funny. No, you can't eat it.